Ladies and gentlemen, don't adjust your dial. That's right. It's still the Week Up Balls podcast. Little mix up today, though. Little Parks and Rec theme. We're getting into the spirit of Parks and Recreation. You can hear the music in the background. We're loving it. My name is Steve Trudeau. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Michael Almeida, Amanda Pacheco. Guys, how we doing?
Awesome.
As Ron Swanson would say, fuck you, Canada.
Off the top rope, man, taking out Canada. So yeah, we're doing something a little similar to last week. We had fun with it last week. We did a Office NBA crossover last week, and basically we looked at the Eastern Conference teams and we assigned each team a character from the hit show The Office. This week we're running it back, Western Conference, and we're going to go with a little different show. Actually, one of the same creators of The Office, Michael Schur. Parks and Rec was his creation, and we're going to go Parks and Rec. We're going to assign each team in the Western Conference a character from Parks and Recreation. It should be really fun. I'm curious to see what the guys went with. I have my list. I know you guys have your list. So should we get right into it?
Let's go right into it, Steven.
Go.
And Emmanuel, you weren't here last week, so we'll go through the rules. So we're going to start at the 15th seed and work our way up to the number 1 seed. Basically, we're gonna go through it, and if we all agree or two people agree on one of these suggestions, we stick that character to the team. We'll have a little bit of debate if there's no agreement with our first suggestion, but we have to pick one before we move on. Since there's 3 of us this week, shouldn't be a lot of debate. Majority rules. All right.
Yeah. Done and done.
All right. So right now, the 15th seed in the Western Conference is the Houston Rockets. I was a little confused of where to go with this. When I think of the Rockets, especially after this week where you had Michael Porter Jr. essentially leave the arena at halftime and say, peace out, take my ball and going home. And then Christian Wood refused to play the second half. I just think dysfunction. Like, what are you guys doing? They're clearly not trying to win. They're young and dumb. And I use those phrases, and I go in a deep cut on The Office with this one. So only real Office fans, like real hardcore Office fans, would know this character. I went with Harris and Brett. Now, these are the two gentlemen that work at the animal control that don't do anything. And their Wikipedia description is 2 useless employees of the animal, or I'm sorry, 2 useless stoner employees of the Animal Control Office, and that's how I describe the Houston Rockets. So for me, the Houston Rockets are either one. Pick Harris or Brett.
All right.
Go ahead.
Now go ahead, Emmanuel.
No, you go first. You go first. No.
You're too kind, Canada. Let's go.
No. Let Emmanuel go. I want to hear what Emmanual has to say. His first one.
I don't know. Who are the choices again?
There are no choices. Who's your suggestion? You're already messing this up.
For the Houston Rockets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had Tammy.
Yes, Emmanuel.
The Houston Rockets, totally useless, completely and I'm going again because I don't know all the teams very well. I'm going more with what I think their personality of the team is, right? So I think that the Houston Rockets are the worst, and because of that, I put Tammy there.
I went
Tammy
with
2.
No, Tammy won. Tammy won.
The wife. Okay, the original wife.
Yeah,
that's so funny, Emmanuel. I went Tammy 1 as well.
Wow.
The reason I did that was she's just pure evil, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about the history of the team right now. Okay. They're usually super smart. They know how to get what they want, right? And being Orlando fans, me and Trudeau, they've swindled us for T-Mac. They've swindled the Thunder for James Harden. And then they got Dwight Howard. So that's where I went with that. And Tammy 1's the worst. So they know how to build. They have a solid front. They know how to take teams' cornerstones. So to me, whenever I see the Rockets or Orlando coming up with the trade, I'm just like, Ron Swanson. I'm scared, man. I'm scared. They're taking the house. So that's why I went Tammy 1.
I mean, there's not much disagreement there. I don't really see Tammy 1. I like mine better, but I mean, 2 people wanted Tammy 1. So I mean, boom, nailed it.
And ever since Daryl Morey left the Rockets, it's
God.
just been on my hit list. So that's fine.
All right. So who wants to lead us off with the 14 seed, the Pelicans?
All right, I'll go with the Pelicans. My Pelicans choice is pretty weird. I went with Andy Dwyer.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second there.
Oh.
Hold on 1 second.
And I am Mother Nature's brother. Brother Nature.
Why?
All right. Andy Dwyer is just happy to be a part of the NBA, just like the Pelicans are. They're never really scared of. You're never really scared of them. He's lazy at times. Sounds like someone on the roster. Also shows up fit when he gives up drinking. Sounds like someone on the roster. Also feels like he's happy to just get amazing players. Like, oh, we got Chris Paul. Awesome. Oh, we got Anthony Davis. Great. Oh, goody. We're getting Zion this year. That's why I went with Andy Dwyer.
Man. See, I
All
chose Jerry. It chose Jerry Jurgic. So I thought that it would be like, again, it's like you said, just happy to be there, a little bit oblivious to things. It knows that they'll never really win and kind of just stays in the groupings that they want and just kind of coast. I see them as a coasting team.
All right. So I think I got a better one than both you guys.
No way. Impossible.
And I think you got to hold off on Andy Dwyer for later on and down the line. I think he's too low at number 14. But so I have 14. The Pelicans I wrote down for my notes. They should be good, but they just find every way to fail. Like they got gifted Zion in the number 1 pick. They have Brandon Ingram, who's been an all-star. They have a lot of young talent. They have a ton of picks from the Lakers. Like this is a team for multiple years that you're like, this team could be a fringe playoff team. They should be good. Every year you're excited to watch them play, but yet they're just bad. I don't understand. They have everything given to them, but yet they still squander all those opportunities. And the Parks and Rec character that I associate with that is Bobby Newport, because he has everything handed to him. He has the election handed to him, yet he does not do anything for himself to win it all. He squanders every opportunity, and he's just like, whatever, I can just coast by, no big deal.
Okay, you know what?
Also, his family owns the candy company, and Zion's fat. So
that's why I went with Andy Dwyer. I kept on thinking of Zion every single time that I saw it. I think we got to circle back. What do you guys think?
We can circle back at the end.
All right, because let's see where we landed some other people. Yeah,
I got a better one for Andy.
All right.
Yeah, Andy doesn't belong that far down. He's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. He's too good of a character. I know that's not how we do this list, but it just feels wrong to have Andy.
All right, let's see. I'm willing to hear people out. What's next?
I want to lead us off with the Thunder. I think I have the perfect person for the Thunder. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I think the person that personifies the Thunder the most is April Ludgate.
Oh, I had someone else for April.
Ready? Because April has so much potential. Like that's kind of the theme where she has this hidden potential the whole time, and she just, Leslie Knope sees it, and at some point Ron Swanson sees it and promotes her to being the head of or co-head of Parks and Rec, taking Leslie's position. And so basically the whole theme is April has all this potential, but she just wants to not like cash it in and just wants to be April and say, screw it, I'm just going to be terrible. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have so many picks, so many young players, so much potential in that roster, but their game plan is literally, no, we're still going to tank and be shitty. Like they don't want to win. Like their game plan is to be bad. So like while they have tons of potential, they are acknowledging, or not acknowledging, but they are purposefully just tanking down the standings to get better picks every year. I don't understand. They have potential and they never want to utilize it.
But she goes against the grain, right? Like whatever you say, she's going to be opposite, right? Like that's April, right?
You guys understand she's another main character that you're taking one spot above.
That's her way up, right next to Ron. Way up there.
So who did you go with, Emmanuel?
So I had Donna Meadows.
Okay, I want to hear this.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a reason. I just, from a personality standpoint, I don't know. I don't know the Thunder that well. I don't know them that well.
Okay.
You don't have a reason
on the roster.
All right. Yeah, we're good. No. So I think I got a good one.
Okay.
I went Ben Wyatt with the Thunder.
Oh, really?
Okay. Just hear me out. Okay. They're super smart. They have a plan. They bankrupt their team, right? Just like he did his own town, right? He also makes trades and cuts no matter how popular the teams are, right? The players are Durant, Westbrook, Harden, and literally, he could go to. I'm also talking about Scott Prezi over here. He could
Sam.
literally go to any other club team, right, and make them good as well in a couple of years. Possibly the teams that Tom and John Ralphio, which we know are going to be on the list, are going to bankrupt. So that's why I went with Ben Wyatt with the Thunder. I think the Thunder are one of the smartest franchises, and they have a reason for why they're stockpiling all of these great picks and young talent.
I think that Sam Presti runs the Thunder like Ben Wyatt would run the Thunder.
That's
Just
why I
very
picked it.
methodical. I want to circle back because I want to tell you what I have for Ben Wyatt, and I'm curious to see if you like my placing better. But I do like that placing on the Thunder.
I think I know where you're going with Ben Wyatt, and I might like it better because it was very hard for me there. So yeah, let's come back to it. It's not Donna though.
No,
we agree with that.
I'll go next because speaking of Ben Wyatt, I used him one slot higher with the Blazers. And the reason why I said that is because I circled one word or two words for the Ben Wyatt from the town from Parks and Recreation is Ice Town, and the idea is that he bankrupts. He becomes a mayor at 18 years old. Then he bankrupts the town, runs into shambles, and it's just a dumpster fire, and he's run out of town. And that is what's going on with the Blazers now. Like they had a ton of potential and they were perennially, a top 6-7 seed year after year in the West. And this team is a dumpster fire this year. Like, I don't know what's going on. They need to just get rid of everything and sell house because this team is going nowhere. They're just like on a straight line down into the dumpster. So that's why I thought of Ben Wyatt and Icetown, and then just the Blazers season as a whole, just a straight dumpster fire down to the sewer.
Trudeau, I think I got the perfect one for Portland Trailblazers. I went with Mark Mandaniquits because the Portland Trailblazers have quit on Lillard, and so did Mark on the show. Super consistent and smart, just needs to move on at this point. That's why I went with Mark Mandaniquits on that one. What about you, Emmanuel? Who did you have?
So I had Ben Wyatt as well, but for reasons.
Oh, okay.
And again,
I feel like that's
the team as well. So, and I don't know any of the players that are in there. I know like, the ones that are a little bit higher, like I know the Lakers, I know the Mavs. So once I get a little closer, I have a few better ones. But I chose Ben Wyatt for that one.
I feel like we have to honor the rule of two is
that's fine because Emmanuel's filling in his list as we speak.
No, I'm not. I have First, I sent you a message. Do we have to do East and West? I was doing East and West.
Well, if you were
then I had to change.
Hence why he hasn't got his list.
I had
He's full of it. I know what he's lying.
Let me see my list.
All right. So let's see your list. So you can lead us off with the Spurs.
Spurs. I have Tom Haverford.
All right,
my God!
Hold on.
Why?
Yeah.
The Spurs are good.
No.
So you can
The
ball.
Spurs suck. Yeah. See,
I
think
don't know if you caught that.
I think okay, you can play it again if you want. Go ahead.
Sometimes you got to work a little so you can ball a lot.
Exactly. See, I think Tom is one that's always going to try to take advantage. I think he's always, and I just think that they're a team that is coasting on the fact that they will take advantage of whatever they can. That's just my thoughts.
He didn't do the homework.
I
you know the kid in class that didn't do the homework. we have that right now.
I think Emmanuel is just bullshitting his way through this list.
Dude, look, I don't know the teams. You guys have to understand. Look, I'm going to share my screen and you can see.
No. We don't want to see the list. We don't want to. We're just messing with you, Emmanuel.
Okay, go.
I know the second half of your list is going to be really good, Emmanuel. You said that you were unfamiliar with the back half of the Western Conference. Yeah. To be fair, dude, like these teams are all really bad in the second half of the Western Conference, so I don't blame you for not caring a one bit about these teams. Mikey, go ahead with your Spurs.
I went with Jennifer Barkley. Super smart, always ahead of people, doesn't care about winning or losing because she knows she's smarter than everyone, basically pop, and just makes good money. Just sits there, makes good money. Doesn't care. So I went with Jennifer Barkley on that one.
Don't love it. I don't even know who that is. I'm assuming it's like one of those.
Oh my God! It's it's Bobby Newport's lawyer.
All right, got you. She's like the campaign manager, right?
Yeah.
She's the B team.
So I actually went a little different. So when I think of the Spurs this year, and I don't know if even Mikey, you've watched a lot of Spurs basketball, but the Spurs are not a tanking team. They're not a bad team. they're also not good at all. They're just kind of in the middle. And what they've been doing this year as far as playing, right? I feel like their only purpose is just to be annoying, right? So they'll spontaneously beat a good team. Like they'll beat a Jazz like on a random Wednesday or beat a Clippers on a Tuesday. But it doesn't mean anything because they're not going anywhere. Their whole purpose is just to annoy people and just be like a nuisance and a blocker. And when I think of a character that's annoying and just out there to block shit, I think of
You just got jammed.
Councilman Jam.
Oh,
He's
nice.
just there to block bills and be a complete nuisance to Leslie Knope. And the Spurs are just a nuisance to all the good teams because they're not great, but in any given night, they're going to beat you. No one has any thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we'll
Yeah.
circle. Really, there's a lot. I hated both of you guys' selections, so
At least mine had Pop in it. He's the only person that really matters with the Spurs.
Wow.
yeah. But like you're describing someone that's like a character that's take charge, like running shit, like in DC and the Spurs this year. They're just kind of an afterthought. They're just there in San Antonio. No one really cares.
Just like Jennifer Barkley was in the show, an afterthought. She was just kind of there.
Her character was like a very take charge, like very leadership person. I don't see that in the Spurs this year. Like,
I don't see him
if we're just
jam.
gonna just this year.
I'm doing it as like a whole like franchise. That's how
so
I
you're
look
doing
at it.
by team. You're not doing by players then, like key players. You're
No, there's some by players, but I'm doing it as like what they've done in the last 10 years kind of situation. That's what we did that's what I did with some of the office people.
All right, so let's just go to the Kings. Let's find somewhere where they actually match. So we have two hits that we're agreeing on so far. The Blazers with Ben Wyatt, Rockets with Tammy One. Let's see if we can get another match here before we hit the big baller bucket. So we're on the Kings. Does anyone want to lead off the Kings who they had?
I'll say who I had. I had Mona Lisa. So Rapio's sister.
I don't hate that one. I don't hate that one at all.
And I thought that was because again, I haven't seen the Kings play very, very much, but I think that epitomizes in the bottom half somebody that is completely the worst person that you could ever imagine in a role. And I see the Kings as being one of the worst teams too. So and I do know that they played the Raptors once, and I didn't like the way that they bullied Siakam.
Did you see the story or the clip of the Kings fan who sat courtside earlier in the season and puked all over the court?
Oh, well, there you go. That's
Yeah.
Mona Lisa.
I feel like our characters for the Kings are not going to be flattering because I have a flattering one too.
Me too. I went with Jerry on this one. They are just a joke.
I got Jerry too.
They're just a joke. No one has ever found them a threat. Even when they are good, they're called the Queens. So I went with Jerry.
I also went with Jerry. I just said they're overlooked, not appreciated, and no one cares. And they're blood of everyone's joke.
I liked Emmanuel's though on that one.
No,
too.
Emmanuel,
I was going to put her up a little bit. But I decided I think my other picks are pretty good. But I had to move her down a little bit. So that's like below the Mavericks. That's where I start to I think I have the right picks on the other ones.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, your Mona Lisa one was great because I wanted to use Mona Lisa somewhere. I could not find a great place for her.
Me
That's
either.
a solid one.
Okay.
All right. So I think we might have another match on the Timberwolves. I think I have a good feeling about the Timberwolves because for me, I went a little different. So like for the Timberwolves, I focused on thinking about Karl Anthony Towns because he's been the face of the Timberwolves for many years. And when I think of Towns, like he's a good player, but he's like super selfish and he's just a very me guy. He wants his stats. And then just the Timberwolves as a whole, they're just a mess as an organization. Like they're just poorly run for so long. Poor culture. So I'm thinking selfish, poor culture, and just a mess. And there's one person that came to mind when I thought of that. Juan Ralphio. I had to use him on my list somewhere.
He's coming up. I think that he still belongs with another team. I can't vote for that one.
I think you're going to say the Lakers, aren't you?
Well, let's just see. Let's see. Wait. Go ahead. So, Emmanuel, who did you go with?
Well, I went with Diane Lewis. So this is again, I go with, and wasn't she? Didn't she? That's Lucy Lawless, right? So
Yeah, I didn't. I just saw that too, and I was super surprised.
yeah. But I think again, I think it's still they're a steady team. I think that they're not the top team and they're not the bottom team. I see Diane as a level-headed voice of reason, and but not not somebody that tries to outshine everybody else, but yet not a loser. And she's dating Ron, right? So she
Go ahead. Trudeau.
I just feel like you're basing your picks just on the standings. You're like the Timberwolves are
Yeah,
ninth, and so
completely.
It's not the best. So,
100%. It's like choosing helmet colors.
Okay, so 17 years, one winning record. That is the Timberwolves. 17 years. If Bobby Newport ran the franchise, this is what they would be. 17 seasons and one winning place. They also think that ninth place is good as of right now, but their track record is just terrible. This is my hardest team that I had. I even told Trudeau beforehand. So I'm cool, but I'm not cool with Emmanuel's pick. So either your pick, Trudeau, or Bobby.
I liked Bobby Newport because if he ran a team, it would be the Timberwolves. It would just be a complete mess, and he wouldn't give a shit.
But it's not
there now. So there you go. They got that going for them. So I like that. If I don't get Bobby Newport for the Pelicans, I would consider Bobby Newport for the Timberwolves. So so the way this is going to go is we're going to breeze through this to start. Like we might get through the whole list in about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, but we're going to have to circle back and actually agree on some of these ones that we haven't agreed on. So we've agreed on 3. The Rockets are Tammy 1, the Blazers are Ben Wyatt, and the Kings are Jerry. We'll have to come back on the other ones in the back half of the Western Conference. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get into the Big Baller Bucket, which is another basketball-related segment we do. It's bi-weekly during the basketball season, and essentially we get assigned a basketball team based on a random ping pong draw. If that basketball team finishes the next 2 weeks with a losing record, we have to serve a punishment on the podcast. And unfortunately, the Buck has claimed another victim. Emmanuel Pacheco, a 2-time loser back-to-back weeks. After we're done with this Big Baller Bucket segment, Emmanuel is going to do a full segment with a mouthful of what?
M&Ms. And I don't know if I have enough, so I got Ferrero Rochers as well. So
is that all you have for M&Ms? That's nothing.
I know, because I was eating most of them.
If there's not enough M&Ms, you're going to have to redo this punishment.
No, but I have the Ferrero Rochers, which are bigger.
You have
and
one giant thing.
Can you please get Myra to be somewhere next to you, so if you choke, there's someone there.
This is a big Ferrero Rocher.
So the whole point is that you're supposed to have a mouth. So it's called the Kevin's Olympic Gold, and it's supposed to be modeled off of The Office, where Kevin Malone does not win a gold medal on the Office Olympic Games. They make an event for him where he fills his mouth up with as many M&Ms as possible. So you're supposed to do a segment with a mouthful of M&Ms, as many as possible. And I think what you've shown us on the screen is about 10 M&Ms. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with 10 M&Ms. It sounds like
this is full chocolate and nuts, and inside there's a bunch of Ferrero Rochers. I will stuff my face with chocolate and nuts. Okay, I swear to God.
Me and Mikey will judge if it counts after.
Yeah.
Can you put it on the big screen, Trudeau?
Yeah, I'll put him on the big screen whenever he starts. All right. So let's do our Big Baller bucket draw for this week and get out of the way. You guys ready?
Yeah. I'm ready.
I'm undefeated, never lost.
All right, and that's obviously our savior and God, LeVar Ball, the founder of the Big Baller Bucket. All right, so by the way, I don't know if I mentioned on the front end, you get 2 draws. First, you can throw it back. Second and final. Emmanuel, you want to go first this week?
I'll go first. I might as well.
All right, and just so you guys can see I'm not cheating, the balls are close to the screen. Your first pick, Emmanuel, is you're going to keep this one, Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's a good one.
100%.
They're very good. And to avoid any controversy, last week I put the swap ball back. I think the new rule is once a ball gets picked, it gets taken out.
Perfect.
So there's no repeats. All right, Mikey, do you want to go next?
Sure.
All right. Your first ball will be Portland Trailblazers. They've been very bad.
No, I don't want it.
And Wyatt, Ice Town. Put that
Nope.
back.
Put it back.
All right. Second pick. Ugh, that's a tough one too. Indianapolis Pacers.
All right, I rather them than what do you call it?
Pretty bad equally. That might be your second L of the season. All right.
Wow.
And for myself, I've been very lucky this year. I'm going to tempt my fate by saying that.
Here we go.
You can see it. I'm not cheating. Choose between two, so I get to pull two balls, and I get to choose personally which one I want to keep. First one, Boston Celtics. Second one, Philadelphia 76ers. Wow. I'll take Philly. I'll take the 76ers.
Yeah, after watching them yesterday, I went in.
The Magic.
I'm totally feeling great for this next one. This win.
You should.
I feel really good. That was the one
Watch,
thing
something stupid's going to happen with Emmanuel where they...
Oh, dude. Steph Curry, man. He's my guy.
Well, I mean, I know you're feeling great now, but I think you need to pay off a little punishment right now. So you're going to kick us off with the Mavericks. Fill your mouth as much as you more M&Ms. You can't chew them. You're not supposed to eat them. They're supposed to just sit in your mouth.
I can't close my mouth. Okay, so I can't close my mouth anymore. Well,
I feel like that's acceptable. Yeah, that's acceptable. All right, so Emmanuel, who did you pick to be the
Maverick?
the Mavericks?
Maverick, I chose Andy Dwyer.
Andy Dwyer. Andy Dwyer.
What's that? Okay.
Oh, hold on.
And I am Mother Nature's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Nature.
All right, now explain why you chose Andy Dwyer. You
Specifically,
can't chew, Emmanuel. You cannot chew the M&Ms.
I'm not chewing them. I fuck up. It's just rattling around my mouth.
All right.
Because of Luka Doncic, specifically.
Who?
Luka Doncic,
I can't hear you. You need to enunciate better.
the Slovenian.
He sounds like the guy from Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah.
He's trying to climb up the stairs.
I chose specifically Luka Doncic as a comparison to Chris Pratt. He is absolutely one of the best players in the league. He's very humble. He doesn't know any better. And I think that he is the guy that compares to the Dallas Mavericks. And we know the guy with the Mavericks from before.
Hey, what color is the Mavericks jerseys?
Well, it depends. Home or away?
Oh,
Do not chew those M&Ms.
I'm not kidding, but they're melting really
what?
fast. They're melting really fast.
What?
It's blue.
It's what?
Blue. Blue.
What color are they?
Blue.
Who's their owner? He's on Shark Tank.
Yeah, of course. I know.
Who? What? Who is it though?
Mark Cuban.
Longer.
Mark Cuban, who I met. I met Mark Cuban.
What did Mark Cuban say to you?
All right.
You don't know what you're talking about. That's what he said to me. Okay, it's melting really bad, guys.
No, that's good. I think I'm happy with that. I think you're good. I'm not gonna keep pressing you on that. That was amazing. Thank you, Emmanuel. So you chose, I believe you chose Andy Dwyer, which I think that meant Andy Dwyer. I'm pretty sure you meant Dwyer. And I guess what? I'm glad we held off on assigning Andy Dwyer earlier because I have for the Dallas Mavericks Andy Dwyer.
Yeah.
And I am Mother Nature's brother. Brother Nature.
And the reason why I chose Andy Dwyer is because these are the characteristics I assigned to the Mavericks. I think they're lovable, they're slackers, and also Luka's kind of fat, and Andy Dwyer starts off kind of. Well, Luka every year he comes into the season very out of shape every year for some reason. He takes 2 to 3 months to get into good game shape, and then he's great after that. And Andy Dwyer, he starts off the series kind of out of shape, and then he becomes, the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. He becomes ripped. So Andy Dwyer, lovable, but kind of a slacker. The Mavericks, everyone kind of loves the Mavericks because Luka and they're an 8 seed. They've been kind of slacking on their job this season so far. So I think we agree. Mikey, who do you got?
I went Ron Swanson.
Really?
But because I thought of Mark Cuban the whole time. I went with Mark Cuban, super outspoken, grumpy old man, is in his ways. he will argue about anything. But I like Andy Dwyer there, so I'm cool with Andy Dwyer.
Yeah?
But
Okay.
I went with
So
Ron
you-
Swanson on that one.
Hey, listen, Mark Cuban is not an he's not an anarchist like Ron Swanson.
He's a libertarian.
Yeah, he's a libertarian. Yeah, that's it. But whatever. He's
But
not-
what state would Ron Swanson live in?
New Hampshire.
Texas or Colorado,
New
New
Hampshire.
Hampshire.
Yeah,
Hampshire.
one of those. So that's another reason. So that's why I went Mavs.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
so-
me and Trudeau have it.
Yeah, we've agreed on quite a bit actually. We have a couple so far. So the Lakers is the one that I am the most curious to see where you guys go.
I think me and Trudeau have the same one for the Lakers.
And
I
guarantee I have
think
the
you
wrong-
might. So I will give you. Actually, I think you already said the one I get picked to the Lakers. So I don't think we agreed. So for the Lakers, I selected.
Sometimes
Yeah.
Ah,
you can ball
damn.
a lot.
And that is exactly the model of the Lakers. But no, seriously, for the Lakers, I think of Tom Haverford as like aesthetically he comes off looking like a baller, like trying to look like a big shot, like I run things, like Gucci, like I'm the man. And then he's actually just a complete mess of a person. So like on the surface looks great, but actually behind the scenes he's a complete disaster. That's the Lakers.
No, I've got a better one.
When,
I'm gonna
well,
tell
hold on.
both of you.
No chance he got a
When
better
the
one.
Lakers got LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, they looked like this front running championship team. And good God, they were a complete disaster. So absolutely, Aziz Ansari's character, Tom Haverford. Mikey, did you agree though? Did you get?
I
Tom?
went 1,000,000% Tom because he's flashy, top of the world, and falling fast. He's had some down times, which so have the Lakers. Also failed a bunch of times, and he just cares about how he looks more than how he plays on the court. I'm pretty sure Tom works in the front office for the Lakers.
And one more for you for your selection.
Sometimes you got to work a little so you can ball a lot.
Emmanuel, I mean, it doesn't count. It's just a procedural thing. But who'd you have?
Well, okay, so I had Chris Traeger. So, and the reason why, and I was going with his
Because he looks like Rob Pelinka.
because he looks like Rob Lowe, but
does.
yeah, he's all show and no substance. Okay, but I picked Chris Traeger. Again, I think I
How
agree
is he
with you
all
guys.
show and no
I think yours
substance?
is better. I think your picks
There's-
are better.
Okay.
But I picked Rob Lowe, like character Chris Traeger.
All right. Moving on. Where are we going?
All right,
This
so the LA Clippers, I had a tough time with this one, and actually Emily helped me with this one. And I didn't know how to use this character from Parks and Rec. And Emily described her as this. She said, this character is a chameleon. Depending on who she's dating, her personality changes from like person to person. So Ann Perkins was the Parks and Rec character. And I thought of the Clippers when I heard of that because the Clippers, they have two main characters in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And if they have both of these guys, they're a completely different team. If they have one, they're a different team. If they have zero, which they have now, they're a completely different team. So it's like, depending on what man that is like paired as a lead character kind of dictates the personality of this team. So I think this team changes the most depending on one or two characters. So I don't feel super strong about this one, but it was the best I could do for the Clippers.
Emmanuel, go ahead. You're shaking your head. So.
I'm choosing Jean Ralphio for this.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And you know why? Because he's all show, right? And he's pure LA. That's one thing. The second thing is because Kawhi Leonard's on there, he's a loser. Okay?
Oh God, it's just that Toronto slander. This is some bullshit. Toronto.
Loser, and that's Jean Ralphio.
All right.
Look. Kawhi Leonard is dead to me, just like when Jean Ralphio faked his death. I think that he's out of my life now. We've now gotten over him.
All right. This one was
Exactly.
This one was pretty hard for myself. So, but I 110% agree with Emmanuel. The Clippers are.
Wow, you guys both picked John Ralphio for the Clippers.
The Clippers are always a mess. Even when they're good, they're a mess. Sure, they can win some court cases, but we all know the sad truth. Also, they would think it was dope to change the Staples Center to the Crypto Center.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
All right. Well, I mean, I liked him out other places. I don't know if that's how you spell Ralphio, but yeah. I mean, I see where you guys are coming with that, and you made good cases, and you guys won 2 versus 1. So we're moving on. John Ralphio. All right, who wants to kick us off with the Nuggets?
let Emmanuel do the Nuggets.
This one, I don't know if this one's a great one, but I chose April Ludgate for this one.
Okay.
Okay, why?
Yeah, I just felt that the Nuggets were in kind of that position in the league where I think that they're a smart team. I think that they will do very, very well, but they'll never win, right? So April, I just see her as always being very steady and being the one that kind of is the counter to what's his name, Chris Pratt's
Andy?
Character, to Andy, right?
Yeah.
So I see her as a very good example of the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
What did you
I don't see
do,
it as much,
Trudeau?
but do you want me to go?
Yeah.
So the Denver Nuggets was the team I actually filled in last. I was struggling so much with this team, and I think I actually found a good fit for the Denver Nuggets. So when I think of the Nuggets, like they're good. I mean, Jokic is good. He's an MVP and potentially 2-time MVP if he keeps it up this season. But no one takes them seriously. They're kind of just like they're a main character in the West. They're just kind of getting by. And when I think of the Nuggets, particularly this season, they're missing their 2 most important characters. They're missing Michael Porter Jr. and they're missing oh god, I'm drawing a blank on their shooting guard right now. It's the Hennessy. It's catching up to me. You guys aren't going to help me at all.
No, I'm thinking of Harris.
No.
But I know who you're talking about. Little solid dude.
Yeah, that's very helpful. But anywho, so I'm thinking of missing star players, and I went with actually Mark because he goes missing after 2 seasons and he's just gone. He just never comes back. And I just went the whole theme of like missing characters and ran with that, but I don't love it.
No, I don't love mine. Once again, it's the same thing as you guys. I struggled with this one. It was one of those teams I just don't really care about. So I went with Ann Perkins.
Oh.
Always solid, goes through weird phases, and no one really cares about her storyline. That's why I went with Ann Perkins.
That might be the Ann Perkins. Where did I have Ann Perkins?
You have her right behind her in Clippers.
I'm willing to rule on this one as Ann Perkins right now.
Really? Okay.
He's just like an eh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
was,
Nugget fans.
Jamal Murray is who I was thinking of. I don't know why I was drawing a blank on him. Like I said,
nobody really cares.
All right, the Grizzlies. I feel pretty good about my Grizzlies pick.
Oh, okay.
It's not the most obvious. So like we're at top 4 right now in the West, and you would think we'd be using the best, the heavy hitting characters, the main characters. I went with one. I think Emmanuel already said it. Mike didn't say this character, so maybe we have a match here. I went with Donna as the Grizzlies.
I like that pick. I'm okay with that pick. I'm probably gonna vote for that one as well because I don't like my pick.
Emily mentioned something about Donna I never considered. So Donna works in the Parks and Rec department. She's very unassuming. However, she's low key rich. Like she buys like 10 shares of the Snake Hole. She drives a Mercedes. Like she's actually rich. Like no one knows. So like I thought of Donna as like a team that maybe is like everyone's sleeping on low key, but like they're actually really good. Like they're legit. And the Grizzlies, like they're legit, man. Like the top 4 teams in the West are like a head and shoulders above the rest. And the Grizzlies are right in there. John Morant's the man. They got a good squad. Like nobody talks about the Grizzlies. Like they're just low key, just kind of chilling there, and they're good. So like I went with Donna. I went that comparison on there.
I went against that. I think I have a better pick. Pick.
Oh wow.
So I look at the Grizzlies. Again, it's the grit and grind team, right? So they're the ones that are just hard workers, salt of the earth, kind of doing the thing that they need to.
I know what you're gonna say, but I don't agree.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to play the sound?
This
You want to play the sound?
you
Is
won't
this
have
it?
it.
Is this it?
Okay, go ahead. Let's see it.
There's only one thing I hate more than lying: skim milk, which is water that's lying about being milk.
It wasn't.
I have him way up a lot higher. A lot
Okay.
higher. I chose his nemesis, Ron Dunn, instead. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right. So Ron Dunn, I think that he's a solid. I think he's again like he's exactly like Ron Swanson, but he's another Ron, but he is different in the sense of I think that he is not as how would you put it? It just I just view him as a grizzly anyways, right? So I see him as a better alternative to the Grizzlies than your choice.
Mikey?
I went with April on this one because she's hardworking, she's young, she's upcoming, could possibly be a powerhouse, and gets pounded when she tries to stick with the strong franchises like April does when she tries to drink with Tammy One. So that's what I went with. But if I had to go between you two, I'm gonna go with Donna. I don't like the Rod, the hippie Rod.
I
No
think that
offense,
was
sorry, but
Leslie that was drinking with Tammy One. When they were drinking
but April tries and she puts it in her mouth and then she immediately
she
switches
spits it
out.
Right, you're right. Okay.
So that's why I went with it. So
Do you want
this was another hard
this one, or do you want to come back?
I'm gonna place my vote with Donna because Donna was the other character I was like close to picking on this one. So yeah, I'm going with Donna. No offense, Emmanuel.
I like your logic, Manuel.
I'm taken, but it's if you put them both in the same jersey, Ron Dunn would look better in the jersey.
So I am very interested. I think, Mikey, you and me,
Have the same one.
I think our 1, 2, and 3 are exactly the same because we haven't mentioned 3 very main characters, and I feel like they have to be on our list. I think Emmanuel agrees on at least one of these. So this should be interesting to see how this turns out. Because listen, last week the same thing happened where we had the same 3 at the end, but we had we had them kind of 2 and 3 were kind of mixed up, and it caused this huge debate. So we'll see how this goes. I'll let Emmanuel lead us off. Emmanuel.
Oh, okay. Well, for my
Jazz.
next pick, so Utah Jazz, I picked Leslie Knope for this one.
All right, hold on one second. That's an interesting choice.
My awesome goddesses don't want to be distracted by losers.
Yeah. I think that Utah Jazz, I think, is an amazing team. I think that, and I've seen them play against the Raptors, my dear Raptors, and I was very, very impressed with them. They beat the Raptors before in the game that I saw. Anyways, but yeah, I chose Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie's better than that. Just gonna say it right now.
I didn't go with Leslie on that one.
No.
Mikey, did you go with who I think you went with?
I went with. Do we have a sound clip of him or no?
I hope so. Yeah, go for it.
Do you have one of them? Like, do you have a sound clip, or this literally could be the best pick?
Okay, go ahead. Who do you got?
I went with Chris Traeger.
Yes.
Wow.
And my mind occupied at all times, I will avoid falling into a bottomless
Mikey,
pit of despair.
I'm pretty sure we agree on 1, 2, and 3 in the same order. So go ahead.
Oh,
Why is it?
Well, the funny part is, I just realized I didn't do the Suns. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't think too much of the Suns.
That's disrespectful.
I went with Chris Traeger because he's super optimistic, kind of young, but you don't really know how old they are. They literally look like the nicest team in the NBA. I feel like they're okay with being first in the season and then getting to playoffs and not doing anything with it. And they're like, all right, cool, we tried. And then they're just also a smart ball club, which Chris Traeger is a smart character. So that's why I went with Chris Traeger.
So if they didn't make the finals, he'd basically use it as a teaching moment,
which they've done every single
time
against the Chicago Bulls.
Can I change my vote on that one? I actually like that one. I had it way down there, but okay.
I also have Chris Traeger as the Utah Jazz, but I went with a different logic. Okay. So with the Utah Jazz, I think of a really, really good regular season team that just can't get over hump in the playoffs. So I put Chris Traeger. He seeks to be perfect. Like he's just that's his MO. Like I want to be perfect body, like mind, like he's like the perfect person. However, as you learn as the seasons progress, he has some very deep issues that he has to resolve. And that's how I put Chris Traeger seeks to be perfect, but he can't overcome his deep issues. The same thing with the Utah Jazz. They are always perfect in the regular season. They crush a number 1 seed, but they have deep issues with Rudy Gobert in the playoffs where they just get demolished. He cannot handle when they try to stretch him out in defense, and they just can't overcome it in the playoffs. So Chris Traeger was my pick. Same thing with you, Mikey. So I think we can agree on that one. Chris Traeger, it's a sign the Utah Jazz.
That was the
Now-
first time we all three agreed.
Yeah, I changed my vote.
We
on that.
persuade.
Yeah,
Oh
you got
crap,
me.
the Suns. Okay, I need to hear you guys on the
You
Suns.
didn't pick the Suns, so it's between me and Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So Mikey, did you not pick Ron Swanson on your list?
I did the Mavs though.
Oh, okay. So
Trudeau.
Emmanuel, I'll let you lead off on the Suns. Who do you have for this? I can't wait to hear this one.
I picked Ann Perkins for this one. Okay.
Ann Perkins.
Yeah, I picked Ann because again, I think she's the most level-headed in the whole cast, and she's the voice of reason, and I think she's consistent in everything that she does and says, and I think that she is the one that is best suited to kind of look at the Suns in terms of how good a team they are, and they've been consistent, and I think that they are the same as Ann. That's just me.
Okay. I'm going to cop out a little bit on this one because, like Mikey, I went a little light on the Suns. I wrote down a character, but I didn't write any reason why because I'm just Suns. But
You probably got confused with the Nuggets or something, like one of
I
those
picked-
teams.
for the Suns.
There's only one thing I hate more than lying: skim milk, which is water that's lying about being milk.
And there's two reasons why I picked the Suns for Ron Swanson. Number one, I felt like Ron Swanson had to be high on my list because I love Ron Swanson as a character. So I put him as the number 2 seed. But also, when I think of the Suns, like Chris Paul, they have a lot of vets like him, Jay Crowder. They're just kind of just straight to business, no nonsense team. And I kind of think of Ron Swanson as just like this no nonsense character. Like, yeah, he is like, does not like the whole idea of being a government employee, but he does love the people he works with. But like throughout the whole existence of Ron Swanson, he doesn't open up. He's no nonsense. He's straight to work, kind of. But same thing with the Suns. I think of Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, just no nonsense. The Suns, I don't know. Also, we gotta have Ron Swanson up high, right? We can't have him.
Yeah,
low.
but Ann Perkins is level-headed. Ron
Well, I do
Swanson.
have bad news. We already agreed Ann Perkins was the Nuggets.
Yeah, but I chose her up a little bit higher. But anyway,
So we can circle back if someone else has a better suggestion, but
I
don't
think
we can have Ann Perkins twice.
Okay.
We can't not have Ron. He's the best character in the
Yeah,
whole
Ron.
show.
I have him. No, I have Ron.
Oh, I want to hear this argument because obviously me and Trudeau agree on number 1.
Yeah, so number 1, without a doubt, is clearly
My awesome goddesses don't want to be distracted by losers.
But let's hear Emmy out first.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson, number 1, because he's consistent. He is consistently the best of the entire cast, period. He is the one that is he's basically Ron Swanson can fix anything, build anything, do anything, and that's basically him. That is Steph Curry. Steph Curry can sit there and do 3-pointers all day long, and
he couldn't fix Klay Thompson's ACL.
No, but I think Steph Curry is winning the whole game by himself, and that is what Ron Swanson is doing.
Emmanuel,
He's winning the entire government over by himself. He's literally.
Did you even put Leslie Knope on your list?
I put Leslie Knope for
no, you didn't.
Utah Jazz.
Who?
What?
The Utah Jazz.
Oh, he did put Utah.
Oh,
I
as
put her,
Leslie Knope.
yeah, but I had Ron, and I was going to put Ron and April first and second, just because. But then I didn't do that because I didn't think that April was really Phoenix Suns worthy.
So, Mikey, tell Emmanuel why he's wrong.
Why am I
Leslie Knope is always the best. Literally goes above and beyond on and off the court. If she was a basketball player, Draymond Green is Leslie's dark side. I feel like Leslie would be a Warriors fan and idolize Steph like Emmanuel Pacheco does.
So I have, for my reason why Leslie Knope is the Warriors, is that the Warriors, they're above and beyond everyone else here. Like, they were super overachieving. They were supposed to be an okay team, but man, they are just super overachieving for what you thought they would do. And like, they are a shining beacon for the league. Like, they have the nicest players that everyone loves. Every little kid looks up to the Warriors. And Adam Silver looks at the Warriors like this is what the NBA should be. They're a beacon of excellence, that organization. And Leslie Knope overachieves. She's a beacon of excellence. And also Steph Curry is like this happy little baby face assassin. And that is Leslie Knope to a T.
Not only that, if Ron Swanson on the show is giving kids landmines, imagine what he would do at a basketball game.
Your kid, take a claymore and put it in front of your house.
All right,
So-
we can pencil Leslie in as the Warriors.
Sure.
All right, so we went through this once, and this is actually going a lot better than last time, because last time we had to fill in like everything after we went through the list once. We have pretty much the entire 1 through 8 agreed upon, except for the Suns. So Pelicans, where were we at with the Pelicans? I had Bobby Newport for my suggestion.
I had Jerry Gergich.
Well, Jerry's already agreed to as the king, so we can't go Jerry.
And you can't go Bobby Newport because isn't he the Timberwolves or no?
And I
We
can't do
have
Don.
not agreed
No.
on that yet. So
What do we
who's-
have at the Timberwolves though?
I had John Ralphio, who's been taken. Who else did we have?
So there's no way.
Tom Haverford yet, right? Oh, no, we did Lakers.
We did
Oh,
Lakers.
So who's by default who was left over?
Ron Dunn.
Yeah, just put Ron Dunn there.
Ron
Nobody
Dunn is not
cares.
making our list.
Ron Dunn? Look,
How
Ron
about
Dunn deserves more.
All
to
right,
be
let's
on the
just
list.
go back one at a time to the Pelicans.
Okay.
So I had Bobby Newport. He was not taken anywhere else. Was there any
Okay.
other suggestions?
Oh, I know who could
But-
go there.
then you struggle because the Timberwolves, John Ralphio has already been picked.
We'll get to there. Let's just see.
We
are there any
can't
other-
do one without the other.
All right. So who had the Timberwolves? I had John Ralphio, which is no longer gone. Who else was suggested as the Timberwolves?
I had Bobby Newport.
Yeah,
Bobby
I
Newport.
had-
Manuel,
I
who'd you
had
have?
I had Tom for that one. Tom.
So
Haverford.
it's Bobby Newport is the Timberwolves.
yeah. Okay.
All right. So we just got to put a fill in. What about Dr. Salvestein for the Pelicans?
That's fine. So who had Pelicans? So Bobby Newport's gone, and Mikey, who'd you have for the Pelicans?
I had Bobby No, I had Andy, which was not a good pick. So
Andy's already taken somewhere else, and then Emmanuel, who'd you have for the Pelicans?
Jerry.
Pelicans. I had Jerry.
We have to find a new one for the Pelicans.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so let's go to the Thunder. Let's just finish this up.
The Thunder's Ben White. Oh no, the Thunder. What did you guys have? Because I had Ben White.
April Ludgate, who's not picked yet.
Oh, you gotta have April.
What'd you have, Emmanuel?
For which one again? Which one?
The Thunder.
The Thunder. I had Donna for the Thunder.
Just go April there.
So April by default.
April, fine.
I'm very happy with that. Spurs. We had.
Imagine us having to draft a team together, guys.
Oh, it would be a disaster. Well, I can pick their colors of their jerseys.
We wouldn't talk to each other for like a couple of days.
No.
Too bad.
So Spurs. I had Councilman Jam. I know that's not anywhere suggested, so I feel good
Oh,
about
shit.
that one.
I don't know who did you have, Emmanuel, for Spurs?
For the Spurs, I had. Oh, you know what? I made
He made it up on the spot. He doesn't
Yeah,
remember.
the Spurs I had, but I switched. I switched. Tom was originally there, and I moved him to the Timberwolves, so I had it blank for the Spurs.
I had Barkley, so I'm cool with Jam. I don't care.
Oh yeah, Jam makes the list.
Yeah.
All right.
We both know that it was just a bad pick either way.
I'm happy. I'm taking the dub there. You know what? I'm not going to fight that at all. All right. So we're getting towards the end. We just have the Suns and the Pelicans. Poor Suns. They're a good team and nobody cares. So I suggested Ron Swanson, who's not yet picked. So Ron Swanson can be the Pelicans or the Suns.
I
Or
rather
you
the
can leave him off
Suns.
the list.
You
Suns.
can't leave them off the list.
He has to be Suns in at least.
Yeah.
It has to be the Suns. There's no way.
I'm sorry I forgot about the Suns. I probably would have put Ron there anyway.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, so who's the Pelicans?
That is to be decided.
I know.
So
who.
we have the Pelicans. I think all of our suggestions for the Pelicans have been picked elsewhere at this point. And if you want, as you guys,
Why not
look at-
Mona Lisa?
Yeah. Well, I put her there as another one. Oh, that's the one I had for the Spurs.
Mona Lisa's a really good one for the Pelicans.
What did I have from.
She's terrible.
Yeah, 100%. Mona Lisa.
Why
I think
not? I think Mona Lisa deserves to make the list. She's the worst.
Yeah, she's the worst.
Such a good character too.
I mean, it's like a very short-lived character. but it's
Yeah.
it's a funny one.
It's a good character.
I think we have our 15,
Wow.
1 through 15. So let's just really quick recap. Mona Lisa, I'm writing that in. All right, so the Rockets, we have Tammy 1. That is Ron Swanson's first wife. The Pelicans are Mona Lisa because she's the worst, and they're the worst.
Wait. Before we go any further, remember the character who was the guy who played Leslie's date and took her on like one of those MRI things. He was amazing. He would have been a good Pelicans person too.
Were there any characters not omitted? We'll circle back at the end, but so the Thunder, we have April Ludgate, and I think the reasoning was they have a lot of potential. The Blazers, Ben Wyatt, and we said because the Icetown, fiasco, and the Blazers are just a dumpster fire. Spurs, Councilman Jam. Kings, Jerry, because they're a joke, and so is Jerry. The Timberwolves, Bobby Newport, because the Timberwolves are run like Bobby Newport runs them. They're just a dysfunctional mess. The Mavericks, they're cute and lovable because of Luka, and also a little chunky because of Luka as well. Lakers, come on, that's the best one, right? Lakers with Tom Haverford, just all show, all flash, and no substance. John Ralphio, surprise, number 6 on the list with the Clippers, and Perkins with the Nuggets because main characters, but no one really cares. Grizzlies got Donna because she low-key rich, and the Grizzlies are low-key good. And then the top 3, we got the Jazz, Chris Traeger, the Suns, Ron Swanson, because we had to have him on the list high. And we all knew that the one shining beacon of both the league and Parks and Recreation, Leslie Knope, number 1, Golden
Done and
State.
done.
Was that the first one you did, Trudeau? Because I know Emmanuel.
Yes, that is the first one. When I
So
saw the
easy.
Warriors, Leslie Knope,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Emmanuel, what one was your first one?
Well, I had Ron Swanson as the first one. Like,
As
and
the
that was
Jazz?
my first. No,
the
as the
Warriors?
Warriors. Yeah, I had him the first one. The very
Wait. I was really excited last week to find out, except that you weren't on the show, who you would have had for Toronto Raptors.
first.
Yeah.
For The Office.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, what's his name? Not Dwight.
You kept saying Daryl, I think.
Daryl, yeah.
Daryl. I'd put Daryl. I said Daryl because he's cool. He can sing, right? Most of the Raptors can sing.
What?
What they can? You haven't seen them
So
in
random,
locker
man.
room singing?
Mike,
Why do you know what they do in their locker room?
Because
you
I know them
creep?
more than anything. Okay,
Emmanuel sent him one of those Google things that he sent us.
that's the Raptors. Daryl is the Raptors, guaranteed. 100%.
What are you gonna say, Trudeau?
I'm just glad he wasn't here last week.
Yeah. Well, you would have gotten that done. You would
I
have
thought
gotten-
we did really well with the Office one compared to this one.
I did. I think we did. I think both were really good. I think this one was way more smooth with a third person to kind of be a arbiter when there was disagreement
or nuisance.
or nuisance. Yeah. Are there any ones in particular that you guys, outside of the Warriors, that you feel strongly about? We nailed
Chris
I think-
Traeger.
Chris Traeger with the Jazz. I liked that one. I felt strong about that. I really felt strong about the Lakers being Aziz
Oh,
Ansari's
absolutely.
characters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Clippers
Kings
was
is
John
Jerry.
Ralphio, and the Clippers was John Ralphio for sure, 100%.
Not only that, to have John Ralphio as the Clippers and Tom Haverford as the
Yeah.
Lakers is so perfect. It's
Yeah.
just, it makes me so happy.
Yeah. Oh, both LA teams. Absolutely. I didn't even notice that. Absolutely.
Like, that is exactly who would try to buy both those franchises.
Those two characters, John Ralphio and Tom Haverford, are definitely two of my favorite characters from Parks and Recreation. I love Aziz's character on Parks and Rec. He gets me every time, man. He's so funny.
Imagine having both of those guys as like trying to go after Kawhi Leonard, like having to go at each other. That would be amazing TV right there.
Oh my god, I loved it. This was a good one. You guys have any last thoughts before we get out here today? I had fun.
No, this is good. And eating the M&Ms. Now I have a tummy ache. I got to drink some tea now.
Yeah, you're a trooper. And by the way, next week, man, you owe us another punishment for this.
Okay, next week I'm going to eat this
No.
entire. Can I do this?
But no, that wasn't a part of it. No. Why don't you watch a bad movie with Luca?
No,
With
it's got to be
Trudeau?
with one of us on the
With
pod,
Trudeau.
you and me. So
Oh, that's messed up,
Trudeau.
man.
Why don't we watch The Hammer? Okay.
We
don't wanna
don't
watch
have
weird
to. We haven't
pornos.
lost yet. We have to lose.
No, but
I
Trudeau
think
lost last time.
I think I'm heading towards a loss this week.
I'll
or
watch
maybe-
The Hammer with him if we lose.
Yeah, okay. You
So
guys
if
have
he wants to
watch The
hold
Hammer.
off, I'm cool with it. Because by the schedule, this is the Indiana Pacers
They're
schedule for
bad,
next.
man.
Oh, no, ready for this schedule? So I should just chalk up the loss. It's the Knicks, the Nets, the Jazz, the Celtics back to back, the
Bad.
Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers, and Golden State, and then back to
You,
Phoenix.
you got it. You got the loss for that one. Man.
So Emmanuel, just hold off. I'll watch that movie with you, buddy.
The
Yeah,
the
okay, The Hammer.
Pacers,
The
the
Hammer,
Pacers are literally just trying to end the season. Like they don't care. They're trying to trade away all their players at this point, and they're just tanking. So it's not looking good for you, man. I forgot who I had. Oh, I had the Philadelphia 76ers. So I feel 50-50 about that. I don't know.
Dude,
We all might be watching that movie together and having
I'm
to
so
do
happy
a.
with the Warriors. I'm so happy with the Warriors.
Wait, what's the Hammer about? Just
No, I'm not telling you anything. You have to watch it. The Hammer. Just forget it.
well, we
You
have to watch it together, so we're gonna have to.
watch together, but you can't read up on it. Nothing like that. You have to watch the whole thing. from the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, I won't do it now. I thought you told me not to.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad we get to watch a
It's-
shitty movie.
It's either that or In and of Itself. Which one do you want to watch? The
Trudeau,
Hammer.
you
of
should
itself.
wait till you lose so that we can all watch it together.
No, I'd rather see you guys pay off a good punishment. But anyways, let's
Okay.
skedaddle and get going today. I wanted to thank you all for listening to the podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed what you listened to, please rate, subscribe, review. We had a lot of fun this week. Hope we did too. We'll be back next week with another episode. Talk to you next week. Peace out.
Sometimes you got to work a little so you can ball a lot.
That was a good show.
That was good. Wait,
That
is
was
it on?
fun.